Boilingbrook. Gangbanging in the suburbs was different. It was different.
KB got a hit.
It's Sean Frazier. Came in the game without a dime to my name. Got some pounds in the change, got some pounds in the change. Used to hang with killers who would let it bang, who would let it bang, who would let it bang. Changing up the script, had to change the way that I live, had to change the way that I build. No more powder in them seals, no more stacking up them kills. Gotta take care of my kids, wasn't easy paying those bills. I could feel the weight on my chest, I gave it all my best. Only pounds I move when I bench, only pounds I move when I lift. I got back up and I flex, I got tired of hitting that deck. Feeling bullets with my head, savage tattoo on my face. Gotta thank God for his grace, make time for my babe. Gotta take time when I pray, legal money all in my bank. I ain't got time to be fake, took the gang all across state. Try to help out when I can. Boss mode, I got plans. Sauce on, I got fans. Came in the game without a dime to my name. Got some pounds in the change. Got some pounds in the change. Used to hang with killers who would let it bang. Who would let it bang. Who would let it bang. Every time they see me, they ask me what I'm on. Every time they see me, they ask me what I'm on. Every time they see me, they ask me what I'm on. Boy, you know what's on. I tell them wrong and strong. Been in prison, back in prison, just to tell them how I'm living. You ain't got it.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name's JC. I am Wrong Strong. If you're new to our channel, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss nothing. If you're part of my crew, mi familia, mi raza, you guys are Suansala Suburban. We about to take a ride. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Wrong Strong. JC here, your host. If you like videos about prison, gangs, cartel, wrapped around some crazy ass decisions of my life, just hit that bell, subscribe. Hey, what can I say? There was already a first wave of gangs that had hit Boilingbrook before I hit Boilingbrook. I actually was the second wave of gang members that came into Boilingbrook, Illinois. So in the early 90s, they tore down some projects in Chicago and they moved a lot of black gangs into the suburbs, and Boilingbrook was one of the places that received the first wave of gangs. Most of them were GDs, vice lords, and some Blackstones. They were in the Beacon Ridge area, and I think the other place was called Sunridge behind the store, but they were right there next to Walmart. It was a small little area, so it was very, very, like kind of out in the open. It wasn't like Chicago, it wasn't like the corners, the streets. It was very, very different. So when I got there, they were already established there. I got there, like I said, in the early 90s, and I was SD, so I started a branch of SDs out there. I got a job at the Marriott that was like down the highway in another suburb, but it was a Marriott Conference Center, and there is where I met. It was two SDs that were from the projects on 42nd. There were two white dudes, Danny and his brother, and we got together and started the branch of SDs in Boilingbrook. It was very, very. It was different out there, man. It was. If you didn't have a car, you weren't gangbanging. Like, there was nothing out there, so like you had to like walk everywhere, and it was like it really wasn't no set like neighborhoods. Everybody was just gangbanging everywhere. The Kings were out there, GDs were out there, the Vice Lords were out there, Blackstones were out there. This is before even the Tutu Boys and the Ambrose, because later on they came in also. But it was just like all out, and we used to hang around a lot at Burrito Loco because my sister was friends with one of the girls there, and so we used to go up there, and actually we got into it with the Kings there a couple of times. I remember Chango, I remember a lot of those Kings over there they were actually from Romeoville, but they would come into Boilingbrook a lot. I went to high school in Boilingbrook, but I got kicked out the first day, and then I ended up going to Romeoville High. So in the early 90s, what happened was they were selling houses for like dirt cheap out in Boilingbrook. I think they were going for like 130 something, and they were like 3-bedroom houses, 4-bedroom houses. So like people from bad areas in Chicago were like saving up and qualifying for these like first time buyer homes. So they were bringing, the gangs with them, their sons. They were bringing their kids with them, and obviously they were doing it for other purposes. But they brought the gangs with them, and it's crazy because in the suburbs, like I said, it's very, very different. It's not, I don't know how it is now. If you live out there in Bolingbrook now, and there's like set areas now where like this is like Blackstones, this is Vice Lords, because of what I remember, it used to be an all-out like Wild Wild West right there in Beacon Ridge. Like you would bump into random like dudes from everywhere, and you would just start like shooting out there, and it would be crazy. Because don't get it twisted, guys, just because it's the suburbs doesn't mean they're not getting down just like Chicago. Because remember, a lot of these dudes came from Chicago, so they're doing the same shit out there. So you would bump into random dudes and you would go at it. Like I said, we would be at Burrito Loco, the Kings would come in and we would just start boxing right there inside Burrito Loco and outside. There wasn't. What I do want to say is that we were all in high school at the time, so we were young. Yes, there was gunplay, but we were duking it out a lot. Like there was just a lot of fist fights after school, and we were really tight with like the GDs. They would back us up at the high school. They were always there, and it was just, I gotta say that that 1 year that I lived in Bolingbrook was actually a kind of a good year for me, because I ended up, I guess not good, but I ended up dropping out of high school. I dropped out of high school, but I went to work full time at that Marriott Conference Center, and I started as a dishwasher, right? And I was washing dishes, and I would go in at 4 and leave late. I would think I'd leave at 10 or 11. And one day the manager approached me and was like, hey, the night janitor didn't show up. So if you want extra hours, do you want to stay and clean the floors and clean the kitchen? And it was a real big kitchen. And I was like, yeah, because I was trying to save up for a car. And I don't know if you guys remember back in the day, a lot of the SDs had cars, Park Avenues, 9/8s with the rims. It was like a trend or look that was going on back then with the rag rooftops and the rims and just like how the Park Avenues were looking back then, you know what I mean? And I was saving up. I wanted to buy one. And I was like, yeah, I'll stay. So I ended up staying, and it was the first time, I had seen one of those machines that cleans the floor. Like it's got this big brush, and you hold it. So I started reading the whole manual about how to do it. It's a degreaser, and then there's a soap, and then you polish the floors, and so I was like, the way my mind is, I got like ADD. I focused on that shit, and I did it all night. I went through the whole process, just clean the shit off the floors. And in the morning, I left. I had to work the next day, so I left, slept for a little bit, and came back into work. And I guess the manager had been looking for me, and I was like, shit, man, did they find out that I took those extra pieces of meat the other day or what? My criminal mind started right away thinking that, all the stuff that I had done bad there, And he came up to me and he's like, hey, so the main chef wants to talk to you. And I was like, all right. So I went over there and he just asked me, he's like, have you ever done this before, clean the floors or anything? I was like, nah. He's like, well, I just want to tell you that these floors have never looked the same color that they were the day that we opened until today. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Young, being tough, you don't know how to take, compliments like that, because, you when you're messed up a little bit, you actually think that they're making fun of you, or like they really don't mean it, or it's just crazy how you just don't know how to take a compliment. You don't know how to actually feel proud of yourself, because you're so messed up the way that you think. And they offered me a job, they offered me a job as one of the lead attendants in the kitchen because the chef took a really liking to me, and I was the boss of seven workers that we had to just make sure that all the rooms were filled with, these were like staff meeting rooms, so everything had to be perfect. Notebooks, pens, candy, water, everything. This was big companies paying big money to have their meetings there, and I was the boss, and I ended up I got my 2 stepbrothers a job there, my uncle, my cousin. I got a bunch of my family jobs there, and now that I'm older and I'm more calm, a little bit, I see things different now from when I was a kid. Now that I remember all of that, and I'm like, man, you were a smart motherfucker. You were hardworking. You were all these things, you always were. So you fell off a little bit, so you got off the road and hit terrain for a minute. So what? You got back on. We take for granted a lot of things sometimes. We take for granted sometimes some of the smallest things. When I was in prison, I would share a pop with my Christian cellie. Every Friday, he would make a meal for us to watch a movie, and we would share a little can, 50-cent can. We would share one can, 50-50, and it would be enough. It was enough. And we sometimes get out here and we forget that sometimes those little things count. But you know me, man, I don't know nothing, man. I just share my story, and I hope that maybe I get through to somebody, or somebody hears my message and says, man, there is a better way, because if JC did it, man, I could do it, But hey, my name is JC. I am Wrong Strong. Hey, don't judge nobody. Stay in your lane. Live savage. And remember, you only have one life to live. Live it out here free, because God is good.